chaos, and this is really much more unprecedented. This is not even like we saw during the election of the speaker, because it was a much bigger space and the conflict was resolved quite in a much more better way. But this is literally MPs at each other's throats. This is literally MPs fighting and saying that their respective positions that they've taken, that this vetting will not happen, and if they cannot agree, then they are going to use violence, they are going to use confrontation to try and resolve this. And ultimately, will they get their way or will they not? It's something that we are still out here trying to see what will happen with leadership on both sides, trying to engage in the middle of this. But one would say that Parliament itself would agree that this does not reflect well on the institution of Parliament. This is a matter that could have been, discussed as caucuses and some agreement reached. But if MPs had to go at each other's throats, tables are broken. Where I stand, I see a table that is completely broken. Two tables, the legs of the tables are completely damaged, completely destroyed. There's absolutely no way this vetting can be used. You can see Collins out there in the middle of this, trying to resolve this and get all of this to conclude. Things have calmed down a bit, but we'll get to see what happens with this. While all this happening, Kabinamintah Kando is calmly sitting at his desk, awaiting for the oath to be administered to him. Samuel Okudjato Abrakwa is also seated, and this is really chaotic scenes over here. Let me get close a little bit to the action whilst Dafia Mekpo is speaking, trying to make a point as to what exactly is happening. No, I'm not tired at all. I'm not tired. Well, we'll see what happens from here, where a lot of public property now destroyed, tables, microphones completely damaged, a lot of security personnel in here trying to resolve this situation. The conflict as we've seen, and for those of you just joining our coverage from the appointment committee, this is a confrontation that has come about as a result of the NDC saying they intend to vet all other ministerial nominees, while the NPP have said they will not do that because they believe they've done this for a long time. This process should not continue, and that they should continue. Earlier on, there was a suggestion that given what was going on, this must be put to a vote because it's a majority system. And if you look at the appointment committee, it's an 11-member committee with 7 NDC MPs, and then there are 4 NPP MPs on it. So if you went to a vote, the NPP obviously would have been defeated on this matter, and that is why they were clear in their mind that they were not going to allow a vote on this matter. They were going to use
there's no movement whatsoever. It's a total scandal. And
Okudjato there talking to the deputy whip, saying that they 7 have quorum on their own and they should be able to proceed and do some of these issues without ultimately leading to anything. And so it's valid confrontation. Many more NPP MPs have gotten out now. Mahama Yariga and the minority leader walked out to try and have a conversation. They are back with an agreement. We will get to know pretty shortly what exactly the agreement is following that they have returned from that little break of theirs to go and talk and then decide on what they are going to do for the next. And so the leaders are back and they say that they will vet the nominees or they will find a way to try and have an understanding of how exactly this process will continue. For those of you just joining, Joy News live coverage of a lot of violent confrontation as we've seen here. Tables have been broken, completely microphones have been destroyed, members of parliament have been at each other's throats. It's been violent confrontation with the NPP and NDC MPs at each other's throats over whether or not the vetting must happen or not. The leaders have gone out to converse. They've gone out there to go and speak. You see Mahama Yariga there asking people to sit down. This is the table that is completely destroyed that has now been raised. This table, you can see, it's a table that should have 4 legs, but it's a table with only 2 legs because when the confrontation did happen, 2 legs got broken, microphones on it all got destroyed, and so that table is now being taken away from the vetting room, and the leaders are now back. We don't know where around which table they will sit as they come again close to try and ensure that this process is then adhered. This is a lot. The MPs are back after some conversation. They are back in to try and have a conversation as to what to do.
That number, and that is why the minorities, I believe that let's have enough time to grill these nominees so we don't rush them through 10 minutes. 50. They are going to handle serious ministries in the interest of the republic. So it cannot be a 5 minutes, 10 minutes thing. We've sat for almost 11 hours today. We all agree that we're going to even do 4. But then so far we've done almost 6. You understand? So if you're asking us to also do additional 3 or 4, that is why the minority is protesting. That's why the minority is protesting, because we also owe it as a duty to stand for and on behalf of the Ghanaians who are not in this room. So it cannot be a 5 minutes, 10 minutes when the person is going to handle the public purse, going to be in charge of policy making. It's a very serious exercise, very serious business.
You see that Samir Uku speaking to sides on what exactly they are expected to do on this matter. Pretty shortly, we expect that the chairman, together with the leadership on both sides, will have some sort of an agreement as to what should happen next. They are seated, Mahama Yariga together with the minority leader and the chairman. They flanked him and he is in the middle. A lot more MPs who were not even here have all returned because they say that this process must continue or must not continue depending on what process or depending on what side they are on. Violent confrontations. This is perhaps worse than we saw there. The microphones aren't working. Mahama Yariga is back and trying to make announcement because the microphones, as you may know, are completely damaged. We will try and get to the other side and try and reach what the majority leader is saying on this matter.
Can you ensure silence at the back?
Mahama Yariga about to address in terms of what decisions the committee together with all the other persons have been able to take, and we'll get to hear from them pretty shortly and understand what is going on.
Oh, please. I am very, very, very sorry that these scenes that we are seeing are being projected to the rest of the country
and to the world. The whole world knows that Ghana has one of the most beautiful and functional. The losing side conceded, and the whole world acclaimed us, and you could see that by the number of heads of states who came to witness the transition. So please, please, let us not destroy that image, that enviable image that we have carved for ourselves to the rest of the world as a beautiful, functioning democracy. I am pleading with all sides. I am pleading with all sides. As you can see, we would have continued, but logistically, it is no longer possible to continue. Logistically, the microphones have all been destroyed. And you know that with the microphones destroyed, it will be difficult for the media to carry the proceedings live on their various stations. They may carry the image, but they cannot carry the voice. And vetting is about assessing and evaluating the nominee. As it is now, we in this room may be able to assess and evaluate them by hearing them, but the rest of the country will not be able to do that. The technical staff have closed and they have gone home. And so there's no way, in fact, even if they were here, the destruction of some of the machines here cannot be easily replaced tonight. So for that reason, it is practically impossible to continue with the vetting. So I am pleading with all sides, that we should bring proceedings to an end, and tomorrow, given that the facilities here have been destroyed, by morning we will designate